How are you doing, guys? So this morning I woke up and my missus asked me to do a video on this MOMO suicide WhatsApp thing that's going on with kids right now. Wasn't really into the idea. Did a bit of research and yeah, there is kids killing themselves, so yeah, we need to talk about this. I'm not going to address this from fear mongering about MOMO, the history of MOMO, the creepypasta, all the rest. I'm going to briefly address the reality of MOMO and the real history, and then we're going to look at what the cause of this problem is, how you can keep your kids safe. I'm going to lecture you a little bit on a few points, and we'll go from there. All right. I think it's important just before we start this video that just for people who don't know. This MOMO issue is basically what is happening is kids are downloading WhatsApp and they're adding a fictitious character called MOMO who looks horrendous on social media, adding that person or someone, a group of people, maybe the contacts are shared out, someone then adds the kid on WhatsApp, then MOMO starts sending dares to the kids. And there's been incidents where the kids have been told to go and cut themselves. There have been videos uploaded to kids' channels on YouTube where spliced in the middle of like an episode of Peppa Pig or something like that, there is MOMO telling the kids to go and get knives and cut themselves. It is quite disturbing, and I just thought I would briefly go over what this video is going to be about and the reasons behind me making it, just in case anyone watching it has no clue about how serious an issue this is. Kids have killed themselves over this, and it's horrendous. Okay, so first things first, what is this MOMO? What is this freaky image that we've all been seeing? It is really disturbing. It is not a particularly pleasant face to be seeing staring at you or your kids, but luckily it was an art project. You can see by these images here, she was a statue. She was created by, I think it was a Japanese artist or a Japanese student, and the picture started appearing on Instagram, and from there it just kind of snowballed. When the internet gets their claws into such a freaky looking image, and it's, you know, not necessarily widespread as this wasn't, it was just on a guy's Instagram account, you know, a myth and a legend can be born from that. And none of this is new. I mean, this is not the first time that a internet horror or villain has been created and affected the real world. I mean, look, last year we had the incident with the 2 girls in America and Slender Man. I mean, that was horrific. And you've got to understand, this is not just going to be a one-off case where sick individuals want to see kids hurting themselves or they prey on young kids. This is not going to go away. This is just the current version of it. So all of our Facebook parents are obviously losing their mind over this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about now what you can do as a parent to prevent your child coming into contact with these predators. And we're going to have a look at a few things that I want you to plant in your own head and start keeping as a mantra for yourself when it comes to children and the internet. Okay, the first topic I'd like to address in this, how can we, you know, keep our kids a little bit safer on the internet, is the theory that I have behind endless entertainment. Okay, when I was little, I would come home from school, I'd plop myself down in front of the television, and you know, there was 4 channels, and kids TV would last from, you know, 4 o'clock to maybe 5:30, and then it ended, right? There was a cut-off point. You know, my kids' entertainment time, if you will, on the TV ended, and I was back in the real world playing with my toys or doing whatever. So just try and keep that in perspective. Endless entertainment, no cut-off point, no feeling like there's a sense of urgency in their life because they are continuously glued to a screen. There needs to be a cut-off point. This continuous cycle of entertainment with no end is not healthy for kids. It's not healthy for adults. Look at how easy it is for you to fall into a time hole, just sitting on Facebook, scrolling away. It sucks your life in. Kids are the same. And if you're in one room in a time hole and your kids in another room in a time hole, they're just emulating what their parents are doing. So you can't blame the kids, okay? You need to sort of rethink and re-educate yourself a little bit. Now, when you look at television and you look at the mainstream media, there is an abundance of third-party companies who are in charge of rating this stuff, telling you when it's appropriate it can be aired, the content, all that stuff. That is not the case on the internet, parents. You need to get this into your brain, okay? It is not up to YouTube, it is not up to the internet to make sure what your kid is watching is safe. It's up to you. I'm going to get a little bit hard here, okay? A lot of parents, whether they like it or not, okay, they're not doing their jobs properly. Okay, if you're allowing the internet to be your kid's babysitter, if your kid sat in his room all day on his tablet, on his computer, or on his phone, if they're 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, it doesn't matter. If you're allowing the internet to be that kid's babysitter, then whose fault is this? Because let me tell you something, regardless of what you think of the internet or what you think of social media, these are not places for children to be 100% unsupervised. You need to get that into your head. You wouldn't leave them at a party, you wouldn't leave them in the supermarket, surrounded by strangers. So why would you leave them on the internet surrounded by strangers? Is it not registered in your head yet how the internet is used, how easy it is to connect with people, how easy it is to pretend that you're someone else and trick a kid into doing almost anything? It's a scary, scary place. Like I say, you wouldn't leave your kid alone anywhere else. Don't leave them alone on the internet. We're going to have a quick look just now at a bit of software that you can go and buy right now if you just want to nip this in the bud. I'm going to explain how to implicate it properly, and then we'll come back and have a little bit more of a chat about things that you can do as a parent to sort of prevent this from continually happening every year to another kid. I mean, it's crazy. Alright guys, so if you're really serious about just wanting a solution right now on how you can start taking better control of what your kids are doing on the internet, monitoring them, and do you know what, let's take the word monitoring out of this. It sounds like we're spying on our kids. Why don't we put protective pedophile shield? Why don't we go with that term? That makes it feel, you feel less guilty when you're protecting your child from sexual predators on the internet, as opposed to making out like you're trying to spy on them. None of us are interested in reading any of your private messages between you and your actual friends. No one cares, okay? You want to act as a barricade between new contacts that you haven't approved for their kids to add to their social media. You also want to have a heavy monitoring on the apps that are downloaded from the App Store. Now I'm going to tell you something as well, parents. That's not the only place where apps come from. Okay, there are apps you can download from websites that aren't approved for Android, for Apple, that don't go in the App Store, that you can still install, that you can get around and bypass some of these bits of software that we're going to talk about now. So you need to start from scratch with these handsets. You need to take that factory reset back to day one and set this up as if it was a brand new phone, tablet, whatever. Okay? Again, not to spy on your kids, stop them being harassed by sexual predators. People that want to see them kill themselves. Okay? People that might want to sexually extort them. All these lovely buzzwords that we'll just focus on. Worry less about the spying on my children, okay? Worry less about that, alright? So we're going to look at this first bit of software. I think it's pronounced Qustudio. I don't know. It was one that I found when I was doing my research today. And it seems really, really good. You know, you have to pay for this. Okay, it is a paid service. I think it's about £25 a year. Alright, it's not a big kick in the nuts. Okay, trust me, I'm low income and it's affordable. So it allows you to set timers on apps. It allows you to set periods in which the device can be used for set apps. It will give you a breakdown and review of all the phone's ingoing and outgoing messages and data and media that's being sent in and out of the phone. You need to understand this has to be seen for children on the internet as not something you as a parent are going to think on. This is a 100% must. Okay? If not, you're letting yourself and your kids down. Alright, I'm really sorry. Okay, the other way of doing this is if you want your kids to have access to a smartphone but you can't afford necessarily to do this, is just sit with them when they're using it. Physically be that protective barrier. I know that sounds a bit low tech, but if kids haven't got endless amounts of time on these devices, we're going to see a dramatic reduction in incidents like the MOMO suicides or the blue whale game. It's fact. So, just to go into this a little bit more, they've got a free trial on this. I'm going to put links in the description. But these bits of software, you really want to have a sophisticated amount of input and selection that you can do to allow you to customize your kids' experience and for you to keep them safe and monitor them. So we'll have a little look a little deeper into this. Here's some statistics for you on how many kids have tablets and smartphones and all the rest of it. I personally think, you can see here, yeah, right there, 2016 study. So I think this is slightly off. I think we're slightly more now on all these headings because it's just the way the world is. But here's where it starts to get a bit scary. So screen time averages 5 to 7 year olds 4.5 hours a day, 8 to 12 year olds 6 hours, 13 to 19 year olds 9 hours. That's a lot of time, and again, a lot can happen in 4.5 hours on the internet. I'm just saying. So keeping your kids safe and having the flexibility to allow them to download new apps but monitor as things are happening. It's important that you monitor websites. All web traffic has to be monitored because of these third-party download apps. Okay? Now this isn't something you even discuss with your child. This is just how it is. So what else is good about this app is it works on all your devices. It will work on your computer, your tablet, your phone. It's kind of like a one package deal. It works for families, schools and businesses, and we'll have a look at the pricing. Here we go. So the same as £2.25 a month, protect up to 3 devices, all premium features. So for a small family, as you can see, that works out pretty good. It's not a scary amount, and again, I know some people that will be a scary amount, and I get it, right? But with that in mind, you're just going to have to do a lot more physical monitoring. I don't know what else to say. I think what we will do is we'll have a wee look and see what free apps are out there as well. I do know from my previous experience in researching this for my own kids that unless you're paying, a lot of the premium features that you want, like control over social medias and being able to set time limits on things, aren't included in the free stuff. It sucks, but when it comes to the kids, look at this as an insurance plan. Okay? Look at it like life insurance. Look at this as like internet insurance security for your kids. £2.25 a month. £2.25 a month. That's like what? 60 pence a week. 60 pence a week. I'm pretty sure we can all find 60 pence a week. Okay, so just so that you guys can see another little selection here, I will put a link to this link in the description as well, which has got a ton of parental security apps, and some are free, some are not. Go and do your own research, find out what works for you guys. Alright, the one that I showed earlier, this one, why has it got such a stupid name? Quastudio. I mean, Jesus Christ. This to me is if you don't have time to go and research anything, okay, if you just want to right now solve the problem for 25 bucks, this is the one to go for. You're not going to be able to treat the device as an existing device. You're going to want to reset it, okay, back up photos, do whatever your kids are kicking and screaming to not have you do this. You just do it, but you need to back up their stuff. It's quite easy to back up contacts. It's quite easy to back up a whole wide variety of things. Yeah, I strongly advise as well that you look into the services that your kids use. If they're using email or anything like that, a lot of these services can be tied in with your email so that you can monitor them that way as well for free. Protects from pedophiles. But certainly this app here, if you just want to step away from this video and get something right now, I think it looks like the sort of app that is going to allow you the control that you need and give you the peace of mind. Again, I'm talking about kids here. You know, I'm talking about in the UK, you become an adult at 16 years old. In the UK, you're an adult at 16, and if you're under 16 and your parents are paying for your phone, okay, or you're living in their house, regardless if maybe you've got a job and you do pay for your own phone, maybe you got it for your birthday, it's pay as you go, you just use it for the internet, okay? You're living in their house, it's their rules. And again, this isn't just to monitor people, this is to protect from some pretty horrendous stuff. So go and check out these apps. This is the next thing that you parents need to do. Go and check out the apps, alright? Don't get yourself worked up. Okay, don't let me make you feel bad if, you know, maybe we're all a little bit guilty sometimes of using screens to occupy our children. It doesn't mean you're a terrible parent. It doesn't mean you're failing. It just simply means you have no clue about the internet. Okay, the modern world is different now. Go up to any of your kids' friends and ask them what TV shows they watch. They'll have no clue. Okay, they watch everything on the goddamn internet. It's streamed, it's YouTube, it's Netflix. That is how it's done. Mainstream fame is dying. It's just the world we're in now. So let's cut back to the regular view and we'll carry on with the video. Okay, so as a parent, you need to take control. If you're going to allow your kid to be entertained and have access to things like YouTube and all the rest of it, it's up to you to make sure the content that they are viewing is suitable for them. It fits in with your morals, your ethics, all the rest of it. It's not up to YouTube. It's 100% up to YouTube to make sure nothing illegal gets presented to your kids, but inappropriate things and all the rest of it, it's up to you to make sure what your kids are being allowed to watch is suitable. So I'm just very quickly going to show you something that is super easy to do. You can implicate on your smart TVs, your Freeview boxes, anything at all where YouTube exists. I'm going to show you something really simple you can do as a parent, especially if you've got little kids who like watching, you know, Peppa Pig. My son likes watching Mario games. You don't want to take that away from them. You don't want to let the bad man win. You want to give them the opportunity to experience the content that they want. Okay, so we're going to take a look at how you can use some common sense when it comes to YouTube and your kids. I'm going to demonstrate to you how I go around keeping the content that he watches safe. So, the first thing you're going to need to do is sign up to YouTube, okay? You need an account, parents. You need an account on here. It's free. It takes like 2 minutes, okay? You probably need a Gmail account as well. Get them signed up. They're free. You're going to sign up on YouTube. You're then going to actively look for the content your kids like. So I'm going to use Hey Dougie as one example of this because I want to showcase the difference between official channels and non-official channels. Okay, so we have an official Hey Dougie channel, okay, where you can rent episodes and all the rest of it. This is a good thing, alright? You want to be looking at content from channels that are official. So yeah, official channels are good. Official channels like, you know, that the people who created the content your kids want to see, such as PJ Masks, you know, Peppa Pig, Hey Dougie, whatever. This is little kids we're talking about here, little kids, okay? We'll get on to the Jake Paulers soon enough. So it's good that there's official channels. Like my daughter, you know, she doesn't realize that these are compilation videos of Hey Dougie. She just likes watching them. She's 2. So let's go on here, okay? Alright, so this was actually handed in to me by one of the Discord community members during the editing of this process, and I thought it was worthwhile showcasing why I mentioned an official Hey Dougie channel when you can see what unofficial channels look like. We've got a channel called Videos for Kids with Momo Kinder Joy Egg versus Puppy Dog Supply Eggs for Kids. Why is there a Momo image on a kid's video? This is just conditioning at its finest. You can also see on this next image, this is a Peppa Pig videos where in the thumbnails you have Peppa Pig stabbing someone, dragging somebody's head around, and when you play the video it's just a normal episode of Peppa Pig. So why are these thumbnails being used? What is this? What is the intention of this? I can't give you the answer right now, but what I can tell you is this is why it's so important for you to preview the content, the thumbnails, the channels, absolutely everything that's involved in your kids' entertainment. Okay, we've got our Hey Dougie video. If you've never seen Hey Dougie and you've got little kids, you need this in your life. It's amazing. So the first thing you're going to do is watch the content. Okay, so now that I've watched this episode and I know there's no graphic scenes that are going to scar my child forever, wow, that took a long time. I'm now going to add it to a playlist for her, okay? So I'm going to go down here, Okay, down there. I'm going to go to save. I'm going to create a new playlist. I'm going to say, hey Dougie. Or you might want to put it, you know, your kid's name. Or non-rapey content. Okay? So, get that added. You're then just going to click create. Alright? That is, you now got a playlist that you started off for your kids. Alright? On a YouTube channel that you've signed up for, that you have control over what goes into these playlists. And that's how you're going to cost effectively secure the kids on YouTube. Yes. What do you mean I'm going to have to watch everything they watch on YouTube? If you don't want to buy a parental app, yes. If you don't want to monitor your kids with your own face, then yes. How little parenting are you wanting involved in this? I mean, there has to be a moment where we just go, come on now. Okay, so my son likes watching Mario, and there isn't an official channel for Mario. So he likes watching Mario gameplay. And of course, Mario gameplay is not necessarily directed towards kids. There is a lot of content that is user-generated on PCs through animation and all the rest of it that is quite inappropriate for kids in the Mario theme. But one of my son's favourite is Zach Scott Games. Like, he loves watching this guy's videos.
What is up, guys? Zach Scott here, playing new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch.
He literally, this is like crack to my son. Like, he cannot get enough of this. Absolutely loves it. Now, I might have had to have blurred all that out because I'm not sure how Nintendo are these days with copyright. So, he loves it. He loves this guy Zach's channel. And when you find a creator who's creating content who has 3.5 million subscribers, 3.5 million and 1 subscribers, okay? They're not going to jeopardize their channel and their job. This is their job, okay? They're not going to jeopardize that by uploading some videos with some horrendous things spliced in. You know, it's like the little kid that unboxed the toys, Ryan's Toys. He's not going to, for a laugh, upload something with something spliced in. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So having quality content for your kids that you've sourced yourself from channels that you know are reputable is also something that you want to look into. And there's quite an easy way of listing them for yourself. So I'm not sure how this works on the Freeview boxes, or how it displays your featured channels or anything like that. But if we go to the front page of Zach Scott Games and we copy his URL, okay, and then we go back to our YouTube page, you can see here creators that I love. Alright, now when you go into the customization tab here, this is just on the PC. Again, this will be listed differently for mobile and tablet and things like this. You're not idiots. Okay, you've managed to raise kids so far, you can figure this out. Okay, so just here at Creators I Love, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to edit the module, and all I'm going to do is copy the link to the channel that I want to have on that little list, which in your head is now the safe channels for your kids to watch list. Okay, great. So now YouTube is glitching, so it's you just need to bear with me a second. There we go. So Creators I Love, enter the channel, add the channel, there's Zach Scott Games. There we go. You know? If we go back to my channel now, you'll see that we've just added a safe channel to a little list that we've created ourselves to get us back to content that we know is going to be enjoyed by our kids, that we know is safe content. Now, don't get me wrong, I've not watched every single thing by Zach Games. I know his Mario stuff is fantastic. I don't know if maybe it varies from game to game. Maybe he's got some content that he gears towards younger kids, but certainly I have had zero issues with this channel at all. In fact, leave a comment down below if you would like me to do a content or a channel content video where I'm showcasing channels that I've taken the time to go and find that are safe, and I'll list them all for you. I mean, is that something that needs to be done? I mean, is that where we're at now, where you know, I need to do all that. It's fine, just leave a comment if you want that. So, by creating a playlist, by adding content to it that you have watched yourself, maybe you sit and you watch, you know, part of it with your kid. You know, you will become more refined at being able to identify channels and content creators that aren't going to take a risk on losing their job and all their income by putting your kids' welfare at risk. I don't have to remind you all of the creepiness of ElsaGate that happened last year or the year before, where all this content on YouTube on kids' channels, okay, kids' channels, not adult channels, kids channels, with creepy content, with Elsa, with Spider-Man, with the whole big hypodermic needles and abortion and puke, a lot of puke. It was weird. It's weird, okay? The people, there's people out there that are willing to prey on your kids and to fool you into thinking their content is appropriate. This is why you must watch the content.
But Ron, what about when YouTube recommends or autoplays the next video?
Okay, so what I do with my son, and this is an easy way of monitoring things. If he's sitting downstairs and I'm working in another room, and I know he's watching something on YouTube on the television, I will go down and pick a video for him to watch. If it's 35 minutes long, I do this. Okay, Google, set a timer for 35 minutes. And in 35 minutes, Google, my phone, again, take away the parenting. Let's just assume no one has any capable parenting skills and rely on the technology to let you know. It's not a problem. We need set a timer. You don't even have to touch the phone. Just tell it to do what you want it to do. It'll do it. That'll then tell me in 35 minutes to go and make sure my son is not continuing to go through a time hole on YouTube. It's really easy. Okay, so we've looked at social media, we've looked at little kids on YouTube binge watching and falling into time holes. What about the Jake Paulers? What about the teeny boppers? What about that really weird age where you're not really into cartoons and you're starting to get into YouTube creators, man, and the vloggers, yeah! Do you know what I'm saying? I love David Dobrik, I get it. I get why there is this fixation with these online characters, I get it. But at the same time, this is just me. I'm just going to refer you back, parents, to the start of the video where we talked about parental apps. You know, you need to be able to monitor what your teeny boppers are doing. And it just, when you have someone like me staring you in the face, telling you need to get these apps installed and monitor put up the protective pedo shield for your kids. Okay, you're not failing at anything, you just don't know what I'm talking about, and I get that. Why would you think that there would be a WhatsApp character called MOMO who's going to ask your kids to slit their own throats? No one in their right frickin' mind would think that would even exist, okay? Take it from someone who spent a lot of time on the deep web. You have not even seen the tip of the iceberg of evil, okay? You haven't. You really haven't. Alright, so what if your kids are a little bit older? What if they're, you know, in high school, their friends all use the apps, you know, but my friend uses WhatsApp, this is how we communicate, I don't need credit, mum, I can use the Wi-Fi, you know, all these things that you're going to hear, okay? What is it we can do for them, okay? We still have to have parental apps in place, but educate your children. Educate your children. They are little sponges ready to take in information. The world is a cruel place, and if you're allowing them unfiltered, unsupervised access to the internet, you are doing yourself an injustice by not declaring what the realities are and the dangers.
But Ron, I don't want to scare my children.
Then don't let them use the internet. What do you want me to say to that? I want to worry my kids of the dangers. I want them to feel safe on the internet. I don't want them to feel scared. Okay. Do you remember stranger danger that we've been taught since the dawn of time?
Policeman.
Can you tell me what the man was like?
Remember Peggy?
He had a beard.
The man in the car had said her mother was ill. But it wasn't true.
And had brown eyes.
What sort of coat was he wearing?
Okay, it needs to be applied to the internet. So you have to start treating the internet, social media, YouTube, all these platforms where there is user-driven content as the same as you would if it was the stranger danger scenario. Don't talk to strangers has to be the new don't add people you don't know. Keep your social media private. Know if your kid is using things like WhatsApp and all the rest of it. You little kids don't need to be doing this, okay? I understand how amazing it is to be able to use Wi-Fi and the internet the same way as texting and phoning is. I get it. It is fantastic. But you have to understand, you do not need to grow up as quickly as the internet gives you the impression that you need to. Just enjoy being a kid. Go the frick outside. Just understand that the internet is a place that over time and as you grow up, you're going to know the reasons why your parents, everyone is freaking out about things like this. It is not a nice world that we live in where an international group of people are trying to push little kids into cutting themselves or doing things to harm themselves. This is the world we live in. It's not pleasant, and I'm really, really sorry that I had to make this video. And I'm sorry because children have lost their lives, okay? Parents have now lost their children in the most stupid and senseless wastes of life possible, okay? Because Slender Man told me to do it. Because Momo told me to do it. This is just a tragic reflection of how technology, communication, social media, the human condition, when it's all mixed together, can lead to utter tragedy. This can all be avoided if we just look past this feeling of guilt for intruding on our kids' lives, feeling like we're monitoring them, okay? You're allowed to feel like that. It's perfectly natural. But mantra in your head, not monitoring, pedophile shield. Remember that. So it wasn't long ago I started my sextortion video series all about people becoming, men, women and children becoming victims of extortion through having images willingly or unwillingly taken of themselves naked or in compromising situations, even simple as getting changed or ready for school in the morning through hack cameras, and how this can lead to teen suicide and how this is a huge issue. This is something else parents need to be aware of. I'm going to leave links in the description to those videos. Parents, watch them. The things that kids get up to on Snapchat, okay, will make your freaking blood boil, alright? So just understand, parental apps, parental apps, parental apps. Internet is a bad place. Pedophile shield, all that stuff. Remember it. Put it into practice. If you've got little tiny kids and you're just trying to keep them away from dodgy content on YouTube, which is, again, not YouTube's fault that it's there, please use the tips that I gave you. Make playlists. Take the time to look into what your kids are into. If nothing else, it'll help you understand what your kids in, and you can talk about it with them. And talking with your kids is definitely not a bad thing. You know, there's a lot of parents out there, and it's really sad, whether they're young parents, whether they're older parents, whether they've got a bit of depression, maybe life's not helped them out too much. Use screens way too much to occupy their kids so that they don't have to do anything and they can occupy themselves with their screen. It just creates a massive cycle where people are sucked into time holes, families are separated from each other in an endless cycle of entertainment. And as far as I'm concerned, the family unit, when it's spread amongst the house, isn't really a unit anymore. I'm not trying to preach to you here about family values. This is 100% to do with kids being safe on the internet. But understand just how easy it is for us to evolve our patterns, even in our own home, just through the introduction of new technology. From me, Ron Swanson, I hope you guys learn a lesson, and I hope you guys understand how serious a topic this is. From me, Ron Swanson, as always, guys, be safe out there. And also kids, like, this is serious. If you're a kid and you're watching this, you download the apps. Go and get the parental apps. Tell your parents about them. Just do it now.